Hi everybody, guess what? It's yours truly, Kimbo Daniel, with another episode of Creativity is Contagious. Now today we're in the studio because I have a lot of projects going on that I'd like to share with you. Last week's episode, number 3, detailed how I go about using recycled objects to make sculpture and artwork and many other projects around the home or my shop, or to give away as gifts. Now, I had hoped that I might be working on one of those sculptures and finishing it up, but actually I've just found another piece that I'm going to incorporate. I think that I will use this as the main base for the sculpture. So we have the bug zapper head, the tire, the bike tire right in here for the torso, and then so on. And I have not come up with a theme yet. I don't know what that will be. I had hoped that maybe I'd have part of my poem ready for you or whatever, but usually a poem goes along with the sculpture. It's not necessarily a rule, but most of them, the majority of my sculpture, especially the people, have a poem that go with them. Now today I'm working on many projects. I'm working on a guitar that one of my clients has asked me to paint for her, and she wants me to put sunflowers on it. And I have put this off for as long as possible because it looks like it's going to be a difficult job. And I want to take great care with such a fine musical instrument. It has a beautiful glossy surface. I was afraid of what type of paint to use on this, but I've decided that if I go ahead and sand it, and not sand too deeply, but just enough to get rid of that glossy surface, I'll just use an acrylic paint, and then I will go over it with a gloss finish to protect it. And I am using this Kleenex box for my pictures to go by my inspiration of what sunflowers, and shapes I should use. So that's something that I'm doing. Also, I'm working on another project for a client, and it's right here. This is an old antique frame, beautiful. You just don't see craftsmanship like this anymore. There were so many layers to the frame, plaster, carving, gold leafing. So I encouraged my customer to keep the frame. They were thinking that maybe they needed to change the frame out and replace it. And I just said, I think that this is a beauty. Let's see what we can do to camouflage some of the rough spots. Now, I do not advertise myself as a restoration specialist. I have a lot of people that come to me and say, Kimbo, could you restore this frame for me? And I just have to tell them I'm not formally educated in that practice. I do have some tips and procedures that I've picked up along the way over the years and working with the framing and artwork. But I just told them that I can touch it up and I can do some repair work, but I do not say that I do restoration. I just make it look a little better. So I think that they'll be happy with what I've chosen to do. In some of these portions where they're missing large areas of plaster and carving, I am just putting in a wood filler, and here's a product that I picked up. I have used it for numerous projects. It's just a wood filler, and it's really nice. It's very pliable. It's easy to get out with a spatula, and it dries fairly quickly, and you can kind of mold it with your fingers. So I'm using that. Okay, then on to another project. I've shown you what I'm working on for 2 clients, and jobs here, I never know what's going to come in the door. It could be framing or artwork or repair, touch-up work. I really never know. Sometimes people even walk in the door and ask me to write them a poem from scratch. Okay, this was my personal project here with the sculpture. We talked about that. I do want to show you how I'm doing the guitar, but I'll come back to it later, right before we close out the show. We're also working on a project that we do annually. It's called the Cattleman Baron's Ball. And artists around the community are asked to take one of these pigs, it's a little piggy bank, and decorate it up, dress it up, paint on it, do whatever they like, glue things, decoupage, what have you, and then they're auctioned off to benefit the American Cancer Society. So this is something that's really fun. We have been honored to be a part of this for, I think we've only been doing it for 5 or 6 years, but this is the 7th year that they've had this event, and it's a lot of fun, and it raises a lot of money for the American Cancer Society. So we've had a lot of artists coming to pick up the pigs here because this is the pickup and drop-off place for the pigs. You can also go to our website and look under the News and Events tab, and it will give you a little bit more insight on how to go about participating in this Barron's Ball and painting a pig project. I always have a million projects going on, but some that I wanted to show you. I am working in my bathroom right now here at the shop. I'm redesigning, I'm taking down the old wallpaper and going up with a textured treatment and going to paint over that, and I think that will help hide any flaws where it's pulling away and messing up some of the plaster work. We'll look at that on another show. It's just too messy in there right now for me to show you. I'm kind of embarrassed, but we're going to see what we can do to jazz it up and update it in there with the minimal cost. Okay, I have another project here that I'm working on. I have a collection of cardboard boxes, and I will be decorating these up in different ways. I've done this in the past. You just take a cardboard box and you glue things all over it, line the inside. I use nice, beautiful mat boards that have nice fabric or textured surfaces to them, and those are really fun to either put a gift in or to store some of your collectibles in. Okay, I'm going to get back to the guitar. And I suggest that any time that you're doing something like this, and at home, for that matter, I prefer to wear an apron. I love the aprons. I wear them at home because I cook and garden and clean, and it helps protect my clothes. But I wear them at work every day because outfits can get snagged on the tables. Anything can happen. Now, I've misplaced my goggles, but they're somewhere around here. I'll put them on before I get started. But what I'm doing, I'm taking this Dremel tool, which is it's an electrical cord that powers it, and it has many different speeds, and it has a rotating pin here that you can change out and put different discs on. I'm sanding, so I'm using a really fine point, and I'm going over my design that I've already done in wax pencil. I'm going over it with the Dremel, and that's sanding away the area so that I can do my artwork later with the acrylic paint. I have to get rid of that glossy surface so that my paint has something to stick to. But I don't know if you can tell what's going on here. I have a sunflower here, a partial sunflower burst here around this opening, and I don't want to get too close to the strings, I'm afraid. But this is going to be a fun project, and maybe I'll show it to you when it's finished. But that's it for today's show, and I thank you for tuning in. I hope it wasn't too long, and I look forward to next week's show. Who knows what we'll do? But thanks again for tuning in to Creativity is Contagious with Kimbo Daniel. And check out our website at www.kimbohemia.net. You can just go on the web and type us into your search engine, Kimbo's Frame and Design, and maybe it'll pull up some stories or information to help you reach us better. Well, next week, who knows what we'll be doing, but I'm so glad that you were here this week. Thanks again. See you soon.